Okay, so this is kind of where we left off in our last video. I kind of want to go over the layers panel because we've just been placing things and we haven't really been using the layers panel that much. So this is the copy that will go on the front cover. So this stuff is in the right spot because as you can see, it's highlighted. But if we click on some of the other things on our spread or on our page, you can see that that's in the copy front layer as well. So this is part of the background. Obviously it's that brown box. Let's just click on that, making sure that it has the, that it's actually selected. And then let's move this little dot into the background. And as you can see, it changes color. The background layers are all going to be red. So another thing is this box here that we put over the top of our beans and also the actual image of the beans. So I'll do Command Z. I just did that to show that to you. I'll push W as well, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see a little bit better. But we can actually grab these two items. Don't select the actual text boxes. Just make sure you get the two rectangle image of the coffee beans and then the rectangle for the top, and click and drag those into the background layer as well. So those should turn red. And then this line is also part of the background. So we will click and drag that little dot until it turns red, and that indicates that it's in the background layer. Sorry, I'm going to get rid of that. Open my layers back up here. And then this is an image that we are using that's sort of floating over the top of everything else, not really part of the background. So we're going to click on that, select it, and move that into the images layer. And then next up, I want to add another layer in here. So just push the plus button here, click on the layer to change the layer name, and let's just change that to inside copy. So we have, copy for the front, copy for the back, which I'm not sure if we're going to even have copy on the back, so we might actually end up deleting this. And then this is for the background, and then this is for images that go over the top of the background, basically. So that kind of takes care of our layers for now. We might have to go back through and as we're placing things, organize our layers later on. So let's go to the back cover, which is page 4. You can also open up your pages panel here and double click to get to page 4. You can also do Command 0 to kind of zero out the canvas to get it nicely centered on your screen. And we're just going to create the back cover here really quick, which is going to be pretty simple. We'll do a file place. Oops, sorry. File place. We'll go into that images folder. I'm not really in the right images folder, but hopefully this is the right one. Okay. I'm going to put this on columns so I can kind of see what I'm looking for here. There was an image that I wanted to use for the back cover. You're not going to have all of these images in your images folder. I'm going to have more there than you do. Actually, let's go ahead and use the rectangle frame tool. Let's click and drag all the way from the bleed line, create that frame that we want to bring our image in. Open up your properties panel and just make sure auto fit is selected, and then do a file place to bring in the image, which will be called coffee beans, just straight up coffee beans. Basically, they're roasting coffee beans in this pan. So push open, and that'll automatically fit it to the size that we want. And then if we push W, we can really see what it's going to look like when it gets trimmed down. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab this box that we created that has an opacity of 52%. Command C that. Go back to page 4, click there to make sure that, don't have this selected, but click on, near page 4, do Command V to paste. And then let's just make sure this goes all the way to the bleed line. It covers up the other image. And just to tone it down a little bit, we're going to add that rectangle over the top. So if we go into the layers panel, we just need to make sure, click and drag to select both the image of the coffee beans being roasted and the rectangle that we brought over that has the opacity. And let's just make sure that we have this in the background layers. So click and drag that little dot. And we're just going to delete the copy on the back because we're not going to have any copy on our back cover. Just a super simple back cover. So yeah, that is looking pretty good. So next up, we'll work on pages 2 and 3. We'll be adding images and copy, and I'll try to be quicker about this than I was in some of the other some of the other videos. Okay, so the first thing that we will do is we will bring in an image, a big image. So once again, we'll use that rectangle frame tool. We're going to push W so we can see the bleed lines. Make sure that our images are going all the way to the edge. We're actually going to extend it over the gutter of the book, probably about this far. I would say 11.25 inches wide by 10 point. Let's see, 0.65, or actually 11.25 inches high by 10.065 tall, somewhere around there. If it's not exact, it's not going to be a big deal. And then we just need to do the properties panel, auto fit, and then file, place, and we will search for, I think I want the coffee mug with roasted beans, if I could find that. Here we go, open. Okay, so I've got that image placed in the box I created. You can use the white arrow tool to move it around and size it up. Make sure it's filling up your box nicely. Push W. Make sure it's going all the way to the bleed line again, using that white arrow tool to kind of crop it. And that's about where I want it to be cropped, I believe. You can crop it however you like, but just make sure that this is legible still. And it's on a nice even background, so that's great. So this is serving as sort of, I believe, more of an image than a background. So let's go into layers and just quickly select, let's use the direct selection tool. So get that selected. And it's in the background right now, but we'll just put it in images for now. Okay, next up, let's add some text on this spread. So as you can see, this is the line where we would fold this page. So this is page 2, page 3. And this is actually called the gutter. So when we fold here, we don't want to put text too close to the edge or even important images too close to the edge of the gutter of the book, because obviously that fold line, things will get sucked into that and it'll be hard to see if it gets too close to the gutter of the book where the folds will be. So just keep that in mind. Also anything around too close to around the edges is also a bad idea with any design, because it can get trimmed off, and also it just creates a tension point if your images, important images, or text is too close to the edge. So let's use the text tool, and let's just click and drag up here. Do I have the text tool? Okay, text tool, click and drag, and we will just start typing in introduction. Okay, and then we'll add some filler text. We'll just add Command C, this text from the front cover, Command C for copy. Click back into our text box that we created on page 3, push return, and then do Command V. So it's hard to see because it's a different color, but let's highlight introduction. Let's go to paragraph styles, and let's click on title. Title's looking pretty good. And then let's highlight the rest of this text. It's hard to see, but if you just click and drag, you can kind of see where you're at. And then let's click on deck. And that will give us roughly what we want. I'm going to put a return here in between to kind of help with that. Okay, and I do believe this is a little too close to the edge here of this image. It's just creating a little bit of tension there that I don't want. So I'm actually going to move this in, and then we're going to take off the hyphenation on this text box because we have some hyphenation going on here and I don't think that looks good. So Let's go into paragraph, actually, let's go into properties, sorry. And then under paragraph, here, -8, this little checkbox, uncheck that. And then let's actually select this and let's make this justified with the last line left aligned. Something like that. And we can kind of move this down so it's lined up with this tab a little bit. I might actually bring it out a little bit more to try and get maybe this and this space a little closer, and this space even to the same distance. Something like that. And I can move my text box up so it doesn't kind of get in the way, basically. Something like that. And we can also, honestly, make this left aligned if you think that looks better. Doesn't look too bad. I don't like this NEC thing, so I'm going to push return on a couple of these lines just to kind of clean up that edge a little bit. And maybe I'll just delete one of the paragraphs because it does seem kind of long, and get that all in one line so it doesn't have one word all by its lonesome there. That's looking a little better. Okay, so now we're going to bring in some body copy, which we can get from Lorem Ipsum. I think I want, I don't know, maybe 6 paragraphs, maybe 8, 9. Generate, and then it's got 9 here, so we can copy that. Go back into InDesign and click and drag with the text tool. Click and drag a text box. I have to do it again. I don't know why this isn't working. Click and drag the text box. Just have to try a couple times, I guess, and do a Command V. And then let's make this have 2. Let's select it with the direct selection tool, the paragraph text that we just brought in, and let's give it make it 2 columns. So this is where you add the columns in. You didn't see it when you're on the text tool. You actually have to get on the direct selection tool and select it. And then let's just click inside here with a double click inside, which will automatically put us on the text tool, and then do a Command A. And then let's go into paragraph styles and go to copy. And there we go. That made it 9-point Montserrat light. Let's go back to properties, uncheck -8 under paragraph, and it's not looking too bad. And then let's justify all of this with let's just try this and see what it looks like. That actually looks pretty good. And then maybe something like that. And even though I have too much text, I can just ignore the fact that I have too much text. One thing is that I could do is after this just double click and highlight and delete until I get the rest of all of that deleted. Definitely didn't need 9 paragraphs, but this is not the best way to do this, honestly. But I'll just continue doing this. Okay, so I kind of got rid of that extra body copy. And now let's just kind of line this all up. Let's make sure this kind of matches this space. This space is matching this space to some degree. I'm going to bring this in just a little bit. Bring this up a little bit. So even this space is matching for the most part. And this space, and this space, and this space, and this space. And so a lot of them are all, it just makes it look cleaner, you know. So that's looking pretty good. So next up in the next video, we'll add in some more details. Actually,